What's up everyone? My name is Abby, I like to read, and today I'm talking about the books that I read in the month of November. So I read a total of 8 books this month. I don't remember how much was originally on my TBR. I think I don't remember, but there were some books I didn't get to, and there's some books that I added into the TBR, so it was just a mess, but let's get into the books that I ended up reading. To start it off with the audiobooks that I listened to, the first one is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This was my TBR jar of the month. I have the physical book, but I ended up listening to it because I wasn't having a lot of time to actually sit down and read. It was more just like on the go working, so I wanted to actually make sure that I got it done this month. And I really enjoyed this. I loved the movie, and I was nervous going into the book. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I didn't expect the character to be 12 years old because Tom Holland looks young in the movie, but he doesn't look 12. So I was really surprised by that, and when I learned that, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to like this book or connect to the characters at all, but I actually really enjoyed it. Manchi is the MVP of this book. Oh my gosh. And it was just such a cool concept. It was definitely changed a bit from the movie, but I don't really mind. I really enjoyed it, and it made me want to watch the movie again. The next audiobook that I listened to was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. This is the prequel to The Hunger Games, following Cornelia Snow and Lucy Gray Bard. I don't know. I listened to this because I started reading it and I knew I was not going to be able to finish it if I continued to read it with my eyeballs. And I wanted to finish it before the movie came out. So I listened to it. I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. I thought it was a bit boring. I did not connect to Cornelius' character, which I don't think you're really supposed to. Obviously, he's the main antagonist in the Hunger Games, but I thought he wasn't written very well. I think maybe Susan Collins just doesn't have her teenage boy point of view down right now. I thought it was not good. There was insta love. I didn't understand the characters at all. The ending was really rushed and weird. I just didn't really like it. I actually think that the movie was better than the book, which doesn't happen a lot, but I feel like that has been kind of a common theme with the Hunger Games books. I just like the movies better. It just seems like it's just raised up a level. I don't know. I liked it better. Sorry. The next audiobook that I listened to was The Chosen by Danica Dark. This is the third book in the Black Arrowhead series. This is kind of a spin-off. I think all of Danica Dark's series it's like the Magiverse, universe. And these characters are kind of seen in her previous series, or like the previous books. They're like standalones, but the characters all connect. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. This wasn't on my TBR because I didn't realize it was coming out this month, but when I saw that it came out, I had to buy it. You know, if you watch my videos, you know that I am such a fan of the Danica Dark, Nicole Poole narrator partnership. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Nicole Poole brings these characters to life. Her male character voices are fantastic. She does accents so amazingly. And yeah, I gave this 4 stars. Normally I rate Danica Dark's books 5 stars, I think, but this one, the romance seemed a little bit rushed. It seemed like, not that it was rushed too quickly in the book, but it seemed like once they went from like strangers to lovers, it just happens so fast. Like once they were like, oh, let's try something, then all of a sudden they were in love. And so I think that kind of brought it like back for me. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know what I think about that. But I just loved it. It got dark and I love her books. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I listened to is Shadow Rule by Angelina J. Steffert. This is the 3rd book in the Shattered Kingdom series. I gave this book 3 stars, which I think is less than the previous books. This one it definitely seemed like a filler book. There wasn't really like that action climax point. There wasn't really kind of any action at all. And then they still have the like multi POVs in this book. However, it mainly focused on kind of the main protagonist. And every time we switched to the other POVs, nothing happened. Like it was just, I don't know, there was no action. It was all just like the characters and their daily situation, what's happening. And I kind of miss that kind of build up and those action scenes. The next book I also didn't realize came out, and that is the 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is book 1.5 in the Crowns of Nyaxia. This book was out like months and months and months ago, but the audiobook didn't come out till recently. So I picked it up and I loved this book. This is technically a novella, but it felt like a full book. Like nothing was rushed. Because usually when you have novellas with new characters, it's like, ooh, this is going to be like a really rushed story. But I loved it so much. My favorite thing is the main character was neurodivergent. But it wasn't, she wrote it in a way where it wasn't like said. It wasn't like saying, oh, this person probably has autism spectrum disorder. It wasn't literally like, this is what the situation is. It explained it in a way like, oh, I have trouble making eye contact. I have sensory issues. It takes me a little bit to figure out people's emotions, and I had to memorize facial features and expressions, and just like, it's not so like obvious that like anyone would know it, but if you kind of relate to that, you're like, oh my gosh, same girl. Like, so it was so cool to see that representation, and it wasn't like out of nowhere where it didn't apply to the story at all, but it wasn't like blaring in your face, like the story wasn't about that, but it was so nicely ingrained that it was just well done. I'm not explaining it well, but it was really well done, and I just really liked that representation. Okay, so the audiobook that I wasn't able to get to this month that I was on my TBR was Rising Dawn, which is the 4th book in the Guardians of the Maiden series by Beck Michaels. And the reason why I couldn't get to it is because it didn't come out yet. It was supposed to come out in November, and Goodreads still says it's coming out in November. Obviously it's not because it's December 1st, but I went on her website and she explained that it got pushed back to January. So that will be on my January TBR. All right, now to the physical books that I read. The first book is A Fire in the Flesh by Jennifer L. Armentrout. 5 stars. Love this book. I enjoy it so much more than the actual series. This is the prequel series. I love it even more. Daddy Nyctos, if you know, you know. I just love it. It's so good and you should read it. It's a heavy book. There's some heavy content in this book. So I would like look up any warnings before you read it. But I really enjoyed it. It ended on a happy note. It was very, very sweet. And there is another book in this series. But like, I don't know, I get them all confused because she's also having another book in the other series that like intertwine with these characters, and it's gonna be crazy, but I am so excited to finish out this series and kind of see what happens. The next book I read was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I gave this book 5 stars. I've heard so many things about it. It is really like highly hyped, and what comes with that is a lot of criticism, and I know that there's a lot of like talk about like this being a very poorly written book and like it's just AI generated, and all I have to say is yeah, I acknowledge that this book is basically Divergent with dragons and spicy scenes. but I happen to like Divergent and Dragons and Spicy Seeds, so I don't see the problem with that, actually. What I would say is when you go into this book, you have to go into it with the mindset that you're not gonna have this beautiful reading experience and you're not gonna learn things about life. This is fun. This is a fun book that you're going to read and drool over the characters. It's fun. I don't know why people are like trying to criticize these books and like they're like it's not an intellectual experience. No, it's dragon fluff, okay? It's just fun. So just read it and have fun, okay? I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. And I am currently reading the second book. So yeah. And the last book that I read was A Shadow Crown by Melissa Blair. This is the second book in the Halfling saga. I enjoyed this book, not quite as much as the first book. I gave it 4 stars. And, you know, literally, this is the last book that I read. I finished it, I think, yesterday, and I'm having trouble remembering what happened. Okay, I think I remember. I enjoyed this book. It took me longer to read than the first one. It was a little bit slower. But I love all the characters. I love Kira. I love Riven. I love Nikolai and Sierra. Killian? No, I don't like him. And I'm not gonna say anything else because I don't want to give spoilers. Damien, do not like. The King, hate. Hate. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'll say a little bit more, not a spoiler, but there was a few scenes where it like seemed like it might turn into a love triangle, and I am not about that. I do not like love triangles. I am over that trope in books. It was way overdone in YA, where the first book you have one love interest, the second book you have another, and then you finally go back to the first one. I don't like it. I want them to just be with each other and be happy about it and not have a love triangle. That's all I'll say. But yeah, there was a love triangle. It's fine. But I liked this book. I'm rambling. I'm gonna put the book down right now. So those are the books I read in the month of November. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read these books. And if you have the same thoughts as me or different. Did you like Fourth Wing or did you hate it? Because if you hated it, I think you need to take it less seriously. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Am I recording?